Okay, so we will start with Visual Force. Okay, in the programming side of customization, right? So when you feel that the customization cannot be done with the declarative approach that Salesforce has given, or you can say if you are not able to handle certain things with the help of point and click, that's when you start dealing with the programming. Okay, so there are primarily two programming languages which we are going to deal with. One is Visual Force, which is for the user interface designing. User interface designing means the front end that you get to see, designing that part. Visual Force is a markup language, pretty similar to HTML, um, and it basically has those markups which can be used for designing the front end. All right. Then there is Apex. Apex is the programming language which is used for writing the logics. So Apex is a proper programming language for creating logics. So you can use Apex for writing your logics. How do you want your Salesforce to behave in terms of when a button is clicked, when a page is launched, when a record is saved, or sometimes when nothing is done, still if you want to execute some logic in the backend automatically, all those things can be done using Apex. So all the scripting, story writing should be done in Apex. All the the makeup part should be done in Visual Force. That's how it is. Apart from this, there are two other query languages which we are going to use in Salesforce. One is SOQL and the other is SOSL. Query language is nothing but the program that you write to fetch data from the database or perform any changes in the database, right? So there are two of them which we are going to use. So but Apex and SOQL part, we are going to come into this later. We'll start with Visual Force today. We'll start talking about Visual Force. We'll understand what Visual Force is, how it works, and we will start creating some pages using the Visual Force, right? So we'll start creating user interfaces using Visual Force. That's what we're going to start discussing. One quick minute. One minute, I'll just fetch the document. Okay, so here we are. So first thing, what is Visual Force? As I said, it's a markup language. It's a programming language which is used for designing the markups or the front ends. All right. So if you have to go by the language of the book, it's a framework. Visual Force is a framework that allows developers to build sophisticated custom user interfaces, right? So we have seen that Salesforce by default has provided us with a lot of user interfaces. For every object, you have a page layout, and you see the every tab actually opens a page for you. But in case you feel that you are not happy with what Salesforce has given, Salesforce gives you this framework which you can use for developing your own user interface the way you want, right? As per the requirement of your users or as per the requirement of your business, you can create your own framework. right? So that's what Visualforce will do. It allows developers to build sophisticated custom user interfaces that can be hosted natively on Force.com platform. Now these user interfaces can be hosted natively on the Force.com platform. So these interfaces can be hosted on the Force.com platform, right? Now the Visualforce framework includes a tag-based markup language. So this framework basically includes a markup language, which as I told you. So there's this markup language which you can use to design the page. Okay. So it includes a tag-based markup language, a markup language. Hello?
Hello, yeah, Jeet, this is Sandeep. One quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the difference between the Force.com platform and Salesforce.com?
See, there is no difference as such. Salesforce.com is the company and the entire thing actually. You guys are able to hear me clearly? Voice is okay?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right. So there is no difference as such. Salesforce.com is the company, basically the name of the company, and Salesforce.com is the website which you use. Force.com is the name that they have given to their platform. Okay. What is a platform? Platform is, the actually the platform on which you can build or customize your own applications, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they launched it with the name Force.com platform, right? So that's what it is. So it's,
Okay.
Force.com is just a name that they have given to the platform. So initially Salesforce.com, when they started to way back in 2004, 2005, they started with the name Salesforce.com and they just had the standard application. Got it? Standard
Okay.
application as in what we see now once we log in into Salesforce.com, and there was no concept of developing your apps and customization and all. So later on, when they introduced these things, they
Mm-hmm.
called it Force.com platform. So platform is where you can develop your own application. So uh, you know
Okay.
primarily there is no such difference. You can consider it to be, these web pages will be, or these customer user interfaces will be hosted on Salesforce.com environment, or calling it Force.com platform is the same thing. So it's just another terminology they're using for the platform. Again, there is no such platform. It's basically being designed on the web only, but just that they have actually tried to use a terminology there for the
Okay.
platform that they provide you for developing your apps. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So now this is what it has a tag-based markup language. Tag-based markup language means you will have tag for everything. If you want to create a table, you will have a tag for that. If you want to create a page block, you have a tag for that. If you want to create a title, you have a tag for that. If you want to create a button, you have a tag for that. If you want to create an image, you have a tag for that. So for everything we have a tag. Okay, that's what a tag based markup language will do. And it's pretty similar to HTML, as I told you earlier also, that this is very very similar to HTML. And in addition to the Visualforce tags, you can also use HTML tags in Visualforce. So that's one advantage. So a lot of small things or simpler things can be taken care of with the HTML tags as well. Okay, so that's something that we are going to see in the course of the training. So that's about Visualforce. Okay, so the basic about Visualforce. Now let's get started with the Visualforce thing. The first thing that you guys need to do is enable the development mode, Visualforce development mode on your system, on your developer org. For any user who wants to do development on Visualforce, it's recommended to enable the development mode. Okay, okay. What will this development mode do? This development mode embeds a Visualforce page editor in your browser. So it's actually gonna embed a Visualforce page editor in your browser. So then what will happen? You will be able to view the code just below the actual page, right? So that gives you an advantage that you have that option of viewing the code as well as the output of the page on the same screen. This editor opens up the code for you right below the actual page, so you can easily view the output of the page as well as the code at the same screen, right? So that's what this code editor is going to do. Development mode will enable or embed a code editor into your Visual Force page. Okay, that allows you to see code and preview the page at the same time, right? And this is something which is very useful. So it's recommended that before you start creating your Visual Force pages, you enable the development mode. Okay, and the process is pretty simple. To enable the development mode, all that you have to do is you have to go to My Settings, Personal, Advanced User Details, click on Edit, and there you have to select the development mode checkbox and click on Save. That's all you have to do. Fine, that's all you have to do in terms of uh, enabling the development mode. So let me just quickly do it and show it to you on Salesforce. One minute. Give me a minute. Let's try to log in into Salesforce.com. All right. So here we are. Now let's see how do we actually enable the development mode. It's very simple. As I told you, you just have to go to My Settings, and under My Settings you can go to Personal. Under Personal, go to Advanced User Details, and then just click on Edit to enable the development mode. This is where you have to enable it, and that is it. Enable development mode, that's it. Click on save. Right, so that is it. Now my development mode is enabled and we are good to start designing our Visual Force pages. Alright, so you can do or you can create Visual Force pages even if you do not enable this development mode. So it's not required as such, but if you enable the development mode, then what will happen, you will get the code editor embedded within your Visual Force page, right? So that you can view the page as well as the code at the same screen. Okay, so once I start creating the page, I'll show it to you where exactly that code editor is. Coming back. So enabling the development mode is done. Now let's start with creating a Visual Force page. So let's start creating the user interfaces. To create a user interface, all that you have to do is you just have to go to the browser. Let me just go to the browser itself. All that you have to do is you just have to go to the browser URL, delete everything in the URL after salesforce.com. Okay, just go to the URL, delete everything in the URL after salesforce.com, type apex, then give a slash. So the URL should be like this. After salesforce.com you should have deleted everything. So then slash apex slash page name. Page name can be whatever you want to want your page name to be. Let's say A1. This page name cannot have special characters, it cannot have spaces. Right, that's the only thing that you have to keep in mind. Now that's the page name and you press enter. The moment you press enter, it will throw you an error, Visual Force error. Okay, what is this error all about? It says this page does not exist. So what we have to do, we just have to click on the create page option here. Got it? So A1 is a page which does not exist right now. All that I need to do is I just need to click on create page and that's it. The page gets created. Alright. And here is the code editor. So this is a new page which has got created. It says congratulations, this is your new page. So this is what we have on the page right now. You can edit this. Here is the code editor at the bottom. So click on this, you can open it. This is the code editor that we were talking about, right? So any changes that you make in the code will get reflected here and you can see the changes on the page directly. So instead of congratulations, if I want to write hello, whatever changes you make in the code, after making the changes, you should say save. See, it has got changed to hello. Now, with the help of this code, you are going to completely control this user interface. How is it going to look? What data you want to display here? Whatever markup you want to bring on this page, that completely needs to be controlled using this program, right? Now, only thing that you have to keep in mind is the basic rule is an apex page will start with this tag, apex page tag, and it will end with the apex page tag. So first line and the last line have to be these. Apex page, okay, so that's the boundary of this Visual Force page. Whatever you want to write should be written within this. Okay, so your entire code, entire uh, set of tags, whichever you want to display on the page, that has to come within these two lines. Start of apex page, end of apex page. Within that, we have to put whatever you want to put, right? You want to write how are you, save it. Control S is the shortcut for saving. So if you don't want to come and click here, you can also do a Control S for saving it. See, I've written how are you, it is coming up here. I want to break the line here. There is this line break tag from HTML which can be used here. Line break. Okay. I want to make this how are you bold. I can use the HTML tag bold. Okay. You want one more line break? Put it. After hello, you want a line break. Okay. You want to make this part of the code as dynamic. Sorry, as italic. So go ahead and put an italic tag here. So these are all HTML tags which we are using, right? So as I told you, Visualforce supports the HTML tags also, which makes things easier for you. So like, you don't have to know a Visualforce tag for making the text bold or italic, or for the simple stuff that you can easily do using HTML can be taken care of using HTML. Got it? So now whatever you want to display on the page, that should come here within this apex page start and apex page end tag. Got it? All right. Now let's talk about a few more things. So we have learned how to create a page, and we just saw how do we put content on the page, right? But this is all static content that we are putting. All that we have to actually work on is how do we bring the data and the dynamic content on the page. So that's what we are actually going to get into in our next few sessions. But let's before that, let's learn the alternate way of creating a page. So we just saw how to create a page. There is one more way of creating a page. You can go to setup, develop pages, and click on new, and then you can create and label the page. Okay, so the alternate way of creating a page is this. So this time we did an approach from the URL. An alternate way of creating the page is from setup menu. So you can go to setup. Under setup you can go to develop. Under the develop you have the option of going to the pages, and here also you can click on new to create a page. Okay, but here you won't see that editor and everything. Here you will just see this page. You have to write the code and you have to save it. Okay, so you don't get that advantage of viewing the output. The previous uh, approach, what we were doing, we were able to see the output. You make changes, then you do a control S and you can see the output then and there. So that helps you design the pages a lot better. Okay, here it's not that it does not happen that way. So this is not that good approach. Right, in case you do not have the access to development mode but still you want to create a page, then you can use this approach. Right, most of the times you will be using the URL approach for creating the page. All right. Okay, so now we have learned how to create a page, how to create our own user interface. Let's talk about a few more things. Okay, a Visualforce page definition consists of two primary elements. Any Visualforce page will have two primary elements. First one is going to be the Visualforce markups. Okay, what is a markup? The markup defines the user interface components. The components of the user interface are markup. That should be included on the page and the way they should appear. Okay, so anything that appears on the page is going to be the markup. Got it? Like an image, like a text, like a button, link, all this is markup. Got it? So your Visualforce page needs to have markups. Quite obvious, if I'm creating a page, that will definitely have some markup. Let's say, if you talk about um, the Okay, just take an example of Facebook.com. So if you talk about the the front page that they have, that page has a lot of markup, right? Markup means things that you see on the page, your profile picture, your cover photo, your friends, uh, status updates, and all those things. That's all markup, right? But what will be displayed on that? That is being controlled with some logic, right? Whose status is going to be displayed on my screen, and for how long it's going to be there on my wall. All that is being controlled with some logic, right? So any web page that you see, if it has dynamic content, it basically is connected to a program which is written to control the behavior of that page. Okay, so there is the front end of the page that we get to see, and then there is a program written which controls the complete behavior of that page. Any web page. Now, we are not just talking about the Visualforce page. Any web page in the world, right? If you go to monster.com website, the front end, what do you get to see? The most popular job openings, the companies which are which are hiring the most, things like that. All right, but definitely which jobs are to be displayed there? The if on the first page, if there are 10 jobs which can be displayed, which 10 should be displayed? That must be controlled using some sort of logic or some program. There must be some logic which is bringing in those 10 jobs out of the thousands of jobs that they have in the back end. Only those 10 jobs are appearing on the main page. There has to be some logic behind that, right? So that logic part is written as a program, and it is stored in the backend. All right. So your Visualforce pages also are similar. You have the markups on the page, and the markup will include basically what appears on the page. And the second part of the page is the second primary element is the Visualforce controller. Now, controller is the logic which controls what appears on the page and how it appears on the page, right? So your Visualforce controller is set of instructions. As I said, it's basically the program or the code, set of instruction, whatever you want to call it. So this is the set of instructions that specify what happens when a user interacts with the component specified in the associated Visualforce markup. So this will have the instructions, what will happen when the user interacts with the user interface. Got it? So all the logic, all the instructions or the programs are written in the controller. Though controller is something which is not visible to the end user. So as an end user, you will not get to see the controller, but there has to be this controller. Okay, such as when a user clicks a button or
Jeet,
link, or a
Jeet, this is
controller.
Abhi.
Please go ahead. Someone is asking a question.
Sorry to interrupt you again.
Yeah,
So this component, right? The components. So what are basically components here? So when we say
component can
component,
be anything, any part of the Visualforce page. Like a button can be a component, a table can be a component, right?
okay,
So
okay,
on the Visualforce page, while I'm talking about designing a user interface will have several components. Like it can have image, it can have a table of data, it can have a button, it can have a header, that sort of things. Okay, that's what a component is,
okay,
right? So two things primarily. One is the markup, one is the controller. Markup will control what all components appear on the page. Controller will control what happens when the end user interacts with the page. When you click on a button, what will happen? When you open the page, what will happen? When you try to navigate from one page to other page, what will happen? So that all is written in the controller. All right, so your Visualforce page will have two things: markups and controllers. All right, controllers also provide access to the data that should be displayed in the page. So controller will also control the access to the data which can be displayed on the page. So what data will be displayed on the page, that's also controlled using the controller thing. Okay, just give me one quick minute. 1 minute. Hello. Yeah, I'm back. All right. So, a visual force page usually should have markup and controller. That's what we have understood. But controller is always not required. Some static pages, if you just do not want the page to do anything, then you don't need set of instructions. Like the current page that we designed, A1. We designed this page, A1. Okay. So in this page, if you look, there is no controller here because there is nothing which needs to be controlled. I mean, there is no instruction required here. There are just a few words that I'm displaying on this page. So this page at this point of time does not require any instruction as such. It's pretty much okay with the markup part, right? But yes, if I have to display some data on this page, if I have to have a button which can actually perform some action, for that reason, I will need controller. Got it? But if you just want to have a couple of words on the page, or if you want to design a static page, then you don't need a controller. So controller is though not required, but most of the cases you will see a controller because our visual force pages are always going to be connected to the data, right? So we are not going to work with pages like this. Got it? Okay. So that's about the markups and controllers. Now there's another concept that I want to talk about is a visual force component and attribute. Okay. Now in visual force, as I said, in visual force is a tag based markup language, and we have similar tags similar to HTML here, right? But in visual force we don't call those as tags, we call them as components. Okay. In HTML we have tags, in visual force we have components. Okay. Like in this case, this apex page is a component. Okay, this is an apex page component and the entire code is written in this. All right. So same way, if you want to create a table inside this, there is a component for creating a table. If you want to display an image, there is a component for the image. If you want to create a button, for that there is a component, right? So visual force code, you are going to use these components. Got it? And every component has a few attributes. Okay, so what is an attribute? Attribute is something which controls the behavior of the component. So for every component there are certain attributes associated with the component. For example, apex page is a component, I told you, right? Now there is an attribute here called sidebar. Okay, and you have the option of making sidebar equals to true or false. By default it's true. If you make it false, the sidebar will disappear from the page. See, now the sidebar is not there anymore. So here in this case, apex page is the component, sidebar is an attribute of the component. The same way there is one more attribute like show header. If you don't want to see the header of the Apex page, you can just say show header equals false. See, the header is also removed from that Visualforce page. Got it? So that's how it is. Your components that you see in the Visualforce, they all have attributes. Every component has a few attributes, right? Which are very specific to that particular component, and they are used for controlling the behavior of the component. So when I define a component, Apex page component, it's basically used for defining a page, right? So while I'm defining a page, I also have the option of defining the page with the sidebar. I have the option of defining the page with the header, or I have the option of choosing a page without a sidebar and without a header. So that's what we have. So these attributes can be associated with the components, or these attributes that belong to each component, they can be used for controlling the look and feel of the component, how exactly your component is going to look and behave. Correct? Let me create one more component here. There is another component called Apex colon page block. Okay. All Visualforce components will start with this Apex colon. All the predefined Visualforce components will start with Apex colon. Okay. So, and there is another component called Apex page block. Now, this component is basically used for creating a block in the page. See, small block has got created here. Can you see it? Let me remove this. Let me bring in the header and sidebar. Okay, now you'll be able to understand easily. You see this small block created. Okay, this has come because of this Apex page block. Okay, page block is a component which allows you to create a square kind of rectangle kind of a block on the page. Okay, now you can put some content inside this page block. Hello, I am the page block. You see this? And this particular thing has come inside that particular page block. There is an attribute for the page block which is called title. Okay, and the title you can supply a string value which can become the title for the page block, right? So this way, for everything we have a component, and we have certain attributes associated to the component, like title is an attribute for the page block component. If you want to further break this page block into smaller section, there is another attribute, there is another component called page block section. And you can put a title for the page block section as well. Page block section 1. I am on page block section. Do you see this? There's a page block section. Inside the page block, I've created another section. I've given a title to that, and that page block section has another content within it. All right. So this is how you can actually create the blocks and the sections with the help of the components, right? And page block section also has an attribute called title, so you can define the title for it. Now this page block section, as you can see, by default this is a collapsible section, which means you have the option of collapsing and expanding it. In case I don't want this section to be collapsible, there's an attribute here which you can just go and say collapsible equals false. Okay, and save it. See, now it's not collapsible anymore. So do you see this, how easy or simple it is to start designing, or to started working with your Visual Force page. So if you are actually talking about something like an HTML or any other programming language for you to design this kind of uh, page block and all these things would have taken you some time and some level of expertise, because you had to uh, design the box, and then you had to choose the color, and you had to define some color for this and all those stuff. Salesforce has given you these options by default. With their components, it's just a matter of just putting some components and start designing, start working with your actual logics. So you don't need to spend too much of time. All these websites which are designed, which you get to see, for that each bit of designing needs to be defined by the programmer. Which color will be used in the background, which will be used in the header, what kind of the font will come and all that stuff. That needs to be defined by the designer, right? And that's something which takes a lot of time also, that consumes a lot of time. In Salesforce, what we have is we don't have to work too much on that, because Salesforce by default has given us the default look and feel of the salesforce.com website, right? So I don't see any problem with the way things are being displayed here. Okay, the look and feel of the page is by default set to the natural look and feel of salesforce.com website. So whenever you are trying to design a page, you don't have to worry about what color I should put here, should be the font size of this and all that stuff. Salesforce has already taken care of that. So you can now utilize all your time into working towards your logic, that what kind of data I want to display, where do I want to show the data, what button I want to click, create for the user. So that makes life a lot more easier for a developer. So uh, while you're developing in Salesforce.com platform, or with Visual Force, it's a lot easier as compared to developing any other web page using HTML or anything else, right? So that's how it is. So we are definitely going to get a little more into this, and we are going to define a lot of pages during our training program. But before that, let's now move into the controller part. Let's understand the controller a little more. Fine, we have seen the components and stuff like that. Now let's talk a little about the controller part. Visual Force controllers. So what is a controller? As I told you, set of instructions, right? The set of program or instruction which is written and which is stored in salesforce.com, which controls the behavior of the Visual Force page. The controller will completely have a control on the behavior of the salesforce.com page, or the Visual Force page which we are talking about, right? So what will happen when a page gets loaded, what will happen when someone clicks on a button, all these things will be controlled from the controller itself. All right, now what are the different types of controllers in Salesforce that we are going to talk about? There are 4 different types of controllers that we work in Salesforce with: standard, standard list, custom, and extension. These are 4 different types of controller. All right, so before we start talking about the types of controller, let me just give you a small uh, concept. Okay, we have started creating Visual Force page right now. I mean, right now we just started learning about Visual Force page. But Salesforce.com by default they have given you a lot of pages. That's what we were discussing initially. By default we see so many standard pages on Salesforce.com, right? For account there is a page, not one page. There are multiple pages for account. There are multiple pages for contact. There are different pages for opportunity. Correct? There are so many pages which are there already there. Now, when these pages are already there on our salesforce.com, right? So these pages also must be having some sort of logic or some controller written for those pages. When we understand, I think I give you that example of facebook.com and monster.com as well. I told you that any page that you see needs to have some controlling logic written, right? Which controls the behavior of that page. So when we have so many salesforce.com standard pages, we must be having the standard set of logic written for those correct? So that's what we have. So Salesforce already has some set of instructions written for their standard pages. And the good thing is that Salesforce allows us to use those logics on our Visualforce pages. Correct? So the program that Salesforce has written for their standard pages, Salesforce.com allows us to use those standard logics on our Visualforce pages as well. Okay, so while you're creating a Visualforce page, you have a choice. Either you can work with the standard logic which is written by Salesforce.com, or you can choose to write your own logic. That's it. Fine. If you want to work with the standard logic, the advantage that you will have is you don't have to write your own logic, and you will save a lot of time and effort for yourself, because the logic is already written. All that you are doing is you are just using it. Okay, the controller is already ready, and you are just utilizing that ready-made resource. Okay, so advantage that you have is you don't have to spend your time and effort into writing that. Disadvantage you will have is that you will be restricted to whatever they have given. Whatever logic or instruction they have written, you have to be restricted within that. That's the disadvantage. So Salesforce gives you another option. They say if you want, you can write your own set of instruction also. You can write your complete own logic, right? If you're writing your own set of logic, then advantage you have is you can use or write whatever logic you want. It's completely your program. You want, you can control the behavior of the program the way you want. You can write whatever you want. Disadvantage, you'll have to put a bit of time and effort in writing that. So that's it, right? So either way, Salesforce gives you an option for the controller. So that's it. That's what we are actually gonna see in the controller. So standard controller, a standard controller consists of the same functionality and logic that is used for a standard Salesforce.com page. Okay, so that is called a standard controller. A standard list controller is also similar to standard controller. It also uses the predefined logic of Salesforce.com standard pages. Okay, but this can be used for standard list controller can be used for displaying list of records. Then there is a custom controller. Custom controller is where you are allowed to write your own logics and instructions. Okay, a custom controller is a class written in Apex. So this is where your Apex comes into picture. As I told you earlier, that Apex can be used for writing instructions and logic. So this is where you will need help of Apex. Till the time you don't need to create a custom controller, you don't need Apex. So a custom controller is a class written in Apex that implements all of a page's logic without leveraging a standard controller. Without leveraging a standard controller, you can use a custom controller to write logics of your own. If you use a custom controller, you can define new navigation elements or behavior. So if you are using a custom controller, you can write new behaviors or new navigations, or you can control the page completely the way you want. And then there is another option, controller extension, the fourth type of a controller. This is also a class which is written in Apex, but this basically adds onto the existing controller. So if there is an existing controller on the page, this can be used as an add-on set of logic on that particular page, right? So what we are going to do is we are actually going to talk about all these four different types of controllers one by one in details. All right, we'll go through each one of them.
So G, one question here.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding this controller extension, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we are saying overriding the behavior of the standard controller, so even if there is a method in the standard controller, say save or edit, I can also go by the controller extension. I can also go and override it.
No, controller extension is not overriding, it is adding to the functionalities of the standard controller.
Oh, okay.
So existing functionalities will remain, plus some additional functionalities can be added using the controller extension.
Okay.
Got it?
And then I can specify, say, if I am in the, I am trying to override a standard controller, for example.
Hmm.
I don't know if I can override it or not, but if I'm just saying if or a custom controller and it already have a save method. So when I create a controller extension, then can I override that particular method, or I have to create a different method?
No, you have to create a separate method. I mean, a system will not recognize two methods with the same name.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Fine, you will just need to give it some different name so that system can easily understand that part, right?
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right, so what we are going to do is, we are going to talk about each type of controller in details, and we are going to do a few examples on that. Today, I just wanted to give you some overview on this. So tomorrow, once we meet, we are going to start discussing with the standard controller first. And, I'm very much sure that even if you did not understand the controllers that well today, if you just got a little hint about it, that should be okay with you for now. Once we start, designing examples and doing the standard controller pages, you will have a lot more clarity. So if you feel that it's difficult for you to understand four different types of controller at this point of time, don't worry at all. Next 1 week or so, you guys will be very, very comfortable with most of these controller thing and all, right? So that's how it's going to be. So that's it for today. Please let me know